Evening YouTube, Mr. Mo here, Stick Survival. What I've got for you tonight is, once again, surprise surprise, it's a Maxpedition pouch. Now this is the Maxpedition H1 waste pack, and I'm telling you right now that as far as possible pouches go, this is the Rolls Royce. This is an absolutely blinding bit of kit by Maxpedition. I love this. I had a look on YouTube and there's actually not many people got these packs, and I can't believe why not, because they're absolutely fantastic. It is a waist pack, so it has the added advantage of actually having the sleeve on the back for putting on through a belt, and that's a really good thing because a lot of the Maxpedition pouches don't have that, and I like this feature. The very first video I put on YouTube was my M4 pouch, which I was calling my Possibles pouch. Well, that's now changed. This is definitely 100% now my Possibles pouch. I love this pouch and I'm quite happy to wear it on a belt when I go up in the woods. Now, when I say it's a Possibles pouch, I really mean it's like a Possibles pouch survival kit, and I could quite comfortably spend the night in the woods with this pouch, no problem. And I'm going to do that in the spring. I'm going to go and put my money where my mouth is, and I'm going to bring you a video just the same as I did with my VersaPack review. I'm going to bring you a video with this one up in the woods. Now, the idea that I've put into this pouch is a sort of survival kit, but a little bit more than a few basic items you would need in a survival kit. And in any of those situations, the first thing that you want to do is you want to be located. That's actually key. These packs, survival kit, be it a pouch, a bag, an Altoids tin, or whatever it is you're into, are all designed around the fact that it's only for short term. It's not a long term sort of issue. You have to get yourself out of there. And for that reason, a lot of the things in this pack is about location and signalling. And that's the reason why I have this band around it. This was picked up in a pound shop. It's an armband if you're on a mountain bike, and it has a single coin battery and it has some modes in it. And I really like this because it means that at night I can actually put this around a small tree and have it blinking away all night and hopefully aid in rescue. And it also just, you know, it's reflective. There's no reason why you shouldn't have this on all of your pouches if you can find one. It's got a Velcro strap, so it's multi-purpose. Worst case scenario, you could use that as a tourniquet. So, you know, it's a really good idea. I really like it, and it's going to stay on this pouch all the time. So what else have we got here? Well, Maxpedition on their website, they say that this pack, the main compartment, is 6x4x2 with an additional pouch on the side which is 5 by 1.5 by 1. And you kind of think, well, that kind of seems a small pack, but trust me, and you'll see as we go through this pack is like a TARDIS. It's huge. You can put so much gear in here that I'm really impressed with what I managed to get in here today. I've been wanting to do this review for some time now, but I didn't have a few of the sort of key ingredients, as you were. So we'll go around it bit by bit and I'll kind of explain why it's in the pack and the various options that you could do if you don't have that, because I appreciate that not all of you will have the sort of kit that I might have in here, but there's always an alternative. So in fact we'll start off with here. On this side of the pack, it originally was stitched up the middle here and it had 2 pen holders in it. I don't think that was any use to me, so what I did was I took the stitching out, and by taking the stitching out it enabled me first and foremost to put in this little bit of kit here. And I don't think I've shown you this before, but this is a tiny little saw, and this is really capable of quite a lot of tasks up in the woods. Here in Scotland, when I do shelter building, there's a forest I go to and there's quite a lot of liandi trees in there, and liandi trees are like perfect for shelter building. The trunk of the tree is really nice, straight pole, and the branches on the trees come off really easily, and they make the perfect A-frame shelter from a liandi tree. and this just destroys them. I have no problem with this at all. I picked it up in a garden centre for a few pound, and it's proved that it's a really good bit of kit. It's not particularly for really heavy woods like oaks or ashes or something like that. I'm not too sure about, but sort of pine and softwood, that will just rip through it, no problem. So that's why that's in there, a really good bit of kit. The next thing I have in there, which again, like I said, it had the 2 pen holders, I have a 4.7's Pre-On 2 torch, and this is a nifty little bit of kit because it runs on 2 AAA batteries, which are quite easily, you know, you can get a hold of them quite easily, and when it goes, it is a very, very bright torch. The website claims that the low, which I would have it on just for camp tasks, is 2.2 looms, and it would last for 23 hours on the 2 batteries. Medium is 22 looms for 6 hours, and high is 160 looms for 0.8 hours. And again, it has different modes on it. It has SOS, strobe, beacon high and beacon low, and you toggle through them just by pressing the tail switch on it. And it's a really, really good torch, and I would thoroughly recommend, if you can get yourself one of these and get it in a pack somewhere. Moving on to the other side, down here I have one of those little nano lights, and that's just in there purely because there's a hole there that it can be in, so I stuck it in there, and I find that really useful just to take out, and that'll help me locate items inside the pack if and when. Like I said, illumination, if I'm in a survival situation or I'm lost in the woods, I want to be found. I don't want to be up there for days. I want to be there for a night tops, and I want out of there. So as many forms of illumination and signalling that you have basically will get you rescued quicker, in my opinion. So that sits in there, and then this one is kind of like a bog standard a flashlight sleeve as you wear, and inside here I have my super Swede and a sharpening stone. The sharpening stone is by the DMT, and that's the fine. It's a really good bit of kit, I quite like it. It comes with its little sheath and it fits in there perfectly. It was made to measure. And the knife I carry is a folding knife, especially for a kit like this. It's not part of the EDC kit. Again, like I said, that was the K-bar knife that I showed on my last video. This one is a super Swede, and I love this knife. I can't emphasise how good this knife is. It's a Scandi grind, it is absolutely rock solid. Although it's a folder, when you hold this knife, you know, your finger's not here where some of them are to release the lock or on top, it's actually at the back. So when you use this, you can get a proper grip on it without fear of sort of disabling the locking mechanism. Like I said, Scandi grind holds a razor sharp edge, and this is capable of, you know, this is as good as some of the fixed blade knives that I've used in the past. I would really recommend this if you can find it. The company that make them now are EKA. That's the company that make them now, so you can go and have a look for that knife. The ones that they make now are just as good, it's just a different brand, but this is one of the original super Swedes. Love it, absolutely love it, great knife. Moving on, it has a small zip pocket like a lot of the Maxpedition pouches, and inside here is what you would probably guess from me. I have a Maratac signal mirror, which I think I showed last night in my EDC kit, and I also have a Fox 40 whistle in there, and put a lanyard on it. So again, if I was ever in a situation like that, that would simply come out of there and go straight round the neck, so I can get instant access to the whistle. The mirror I've put in a small Ziploc bag there, and that's just to protect it from being scratched, etc. And I'm going to try and sort of lay this all out in categories at the end to let you see the sort of school of thought behind it all. The pouch itself It's got a really good, I'll move it forward a bit for you, it's got a really good Velcro on it. That is not coming loose. And like I say, there's 2 forward pouches here, and the stuff that's in here is absolutely amazing. So again, first aid, not got huge amounts of first aid kit in this pouch. I've went for more fire, water and shelter options and some food, but nevertheless first aid is an issue, and for that reason I've got a suture kit. Now, I'm not really a big fan of self-stitching, but if you do cut yourself and it's continually bleeding, then you know it's going to stop bleeding. You might put a plaster on it, that's going to hold it together, but if you have to walk out of there, there is always a risk that it's going to open up and start bleeding again. So, you know, like I said, it's a survival situation. Forget the infection part of it, or you may be left with a scar, and get that stitch, put a couple of stitches in it and get it held together so you can manage that wound. It reduces the risk of infection, and obviously will help, it will speed up the process for clotting the blood. Again, butterfly stitches, more or less the same thing. I'd always try them first, obviously, before I had to resort in the fact that I was going to stitch myself. I have a small water gel, burn gel. This is an amazing bit of kit. My wife recently burnt herself with an iron, and I put some of this on the burn, and she swears that she didn't feel it. So I think that's been tested out very well by her. Thank you very much, Susan. And it's a really good product, and when you put this on the skin it goes really cold. So it would probably be very good if you were stung by something. You could probably use it for that as well, just to take the sort of sting and the heat out of that area. So that's a really good product, and I would highly recommend that. That's it for this bottom little compartment here. As you can see, I'll only keep a few items in there. Moving up onto this one, well, this one here says that it's peri peri seasoning for barbecue. Well, actually it's not. I changed the packet. I had that, and I quite liked this little box, or rather the little packet that it came in. So what I've done in here, is just, if I can open it up there, when you open it up it's a nice little, it keeps it all compact, and in here I have porridge oats. Now we have a type of porridge here, I'm sure you get it in America, but it's a type of porridge that basically you only add water to, and it tastes absolutely fantastic. Now there's 2 hits in there, so half of that I would have at the night, and half of it I would have in the morning. And you know, porridge is slow burning carbohydrates, so you're going to get that release of energy, and that's exactly what I want. So if I was to be in that situation, I had to wake up in the morning and have to walk out of it, this is the kind of stuff that I want. And of course I would go looking and foraging, depending what kind of year it is. If it was autumn time, you know, I'm sure I could find loads of nuts and berries and things to put in and supplement that up and bulk it up. But you know, I always do think if you're going to have a possibles pouch or something like that, have at least one meal in it where you can eat something, it's going to fill you up, and it's basically a morale booster. That's what we're looking for, and that'll do the job just nicely. And like I said, I just put it, that I thought that little packet there was very convenient, and I put it in a Ziploc bag, and that folds it up and keeps it all neat and tidy and stops it from bursting open. The next thing I have in here is, well, you can hear the wind there, hopefully, chapping at my door. That's just a typical night in Scotland. So when you're out in the woods and it's a night like that, what you really want is a hot chocolate. A fantastic bit of hot chocolate. These are really good. Like again, you just add hot water, put that in the cup, and just settle down for the night with a hot chocolate. It's just, again, morale boosting, and it's really good. Put that in here. Some water purification tablets, I'll come on to that in a minute. You seen this yesterday in my EDC. This is some different, it's a credit card basically with different sizes of duct tape on it. and that's really useful for repairs, especially because I've got a heat sheets bivy bag in here, and that really helps if you get a small tear on it with your boots or something. That'll help to keep it all together. Again, I think you've seen that yesterday if you were watching my videos. This is a fishing lure, and hopefully we can get a fish overnight. So I'll come back to that when I sort of organise everything out. Some tin foil. Not a huge fan of the tin foil, but it does serve a really good purpose in the fact that here in Scotland, up in the woods round about this area, I would be fairly confident that I could get myself a wood pigeon. Wood pigeons are fairly easy to catch, and you know, once you've got one of them, you can process them really quickly and put them in a bit of tin foil and sit it in the fire, and you're going to get yourself some protein. So again, I would try and keep my porridge oats for the morning, so I've got that slow release of energy for walking out of that situation. But certainly at the night time, a little pigeon or a squirrel, or if you're lucky enough a rabbit, or even a fish, anything can go in there, sat on the fire and have that before that hot chocolate, and you'll be happy. What else have I got in here? I've got one of these ceramic rods. Again, these are really good. Although I've got a sharpening stone in there, these are really good because you can sharpen fishing hooks on them, and it's also, you know, it just gives you that little bit. You can get, if it's kind of rough, you can catch it on that stone, and then you can smooth it off and get a really fine edge with this. The other thing I have in here, if you can see, is it's an oven bag. Oven bags are great. Again, same principle as the tin foil, but we can stick it underground. You can put a rabbit or a couple of pigeon breasts or something in there, a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper on that side. Why not? It can fit in there, no problem. It's all these little bits and pieces that if you actually manage to get yourself some kind of animal and you can cook it up and you've got these little bits, it's going to make you feel a whole load better about the situation you're in. So if you've got the room, stick them in. I think that's pretty much us for the front. Now, like I said, in the morning you're going to have to get up, you're going to have to eat that porridge, and then you're going to have to get out of there. So we need some kind of reliable means of navigation, and in this kit what I've got is an Iris 50. Now this is a boating compass. It works off bearings. I'll try and get that. I'm sure, I don't know if you've seen that, but you look through that window there and it projects an imaginary line on the horizon and gives you the bearing to walk to. And really, I kind of thought a lot about this, and there was no point. I've got base plate compasses with the Romer scales and everything on them, but there's no point in having them because I'm not going to have a map. So there's no point in having all that fancy palaver. All I want to do is pick a direction, and I want to walk in the same direction all day. Now, before you go off into the woods, it's always a good idea to have a look around, sort of maybe a 30-40 kilometre range, and get your bearings. So you know that if you're going to be walking in any direction, you're going to come to a village or a road or a large body of water or something like that. So it's always a good idea to do a little bit of homework before you go off into the woods, and then that way, if anything happens and you do have to walk out there, you have a rough idea of what direction you're travelling in. I mean, you can get absolutely spot on and get yourself bearings, get yourself to a high point here in Scotland or in the UK. Probably if you got yourself up to a high enough place at night, you're going to see city lights or at least a village or something. You could then take the bearing to it, and then you would have that bearing where you can set off in the morning and you would get there. Hopefully, I mean, like I say, 9 times out of 10 you're never more than sort of 20 miles away from anywhere in this country. So, you know, it's a day's, 2 days walk tops depending on terrain. So it's, you know, this, for me, I really like this compass. It can't get bubbles in it, it's rubber, it's waterproof, it floats, it's got a lanyard on it. It's a little bit better than the button compass that I showed you yesterday in my EDC kit. I really like it, and I would trust it absolutely 100% to get me out of a situation. So that is why it's in there. Next up, in here I have a stainless steel pot. Now this was originally a coffee jar, and I'm going to spray it black eventually, but what I'd like to do first of all, I'm going to leave the lid silver and I'm going to try and find a round mirror to sit on there. Again, that would help me if I had to signal for rescue, etc., then a little mirror on top of there would go a long way to helping me out. I'll open it up, and inside, I'm sure you've seen, in fact we'll start off on this side. Loads of stuff crammed in here. I have the Petzl E-light. I'm sure you're familiar with this because I've had it on a video before, and basically on its lowest setting what you're looking at is 45 continuous hours, which is a lot. I mean, that's, you know, 3 nights, 4 nights worth on 2 batteries. I do have spare batteries in here, so I could be fairly confident that by the time all these batteries are run out, I'm not going to be there any longer. So it's a really good bit of kit, and I'm happy. I've tried this, I've tested it, it's in my review with the Versi pack kit, and I'm more than happy to sort of endorse this product and have it with me as a permanent solution for light. The fact that you can put it on your head, it leaves your hands free for other tasks, is fantastic. So between that and the Preon 2, it's a good combination for me. I can use the Preon 2 for small camp chores, and I can use this for finding my way out of a situation should that need arise. Next up in here, needs no introduction, fire steel. Love the fire steels. This is the, I've got a few of them. This, it just says fire steel, so is it a light my fire? Yep, it's the light my fire one. Again, I've got a few of these in different packs, different kits. They're all as good as each other. If you do buy one of these, make sure you buy it from a reputable dealer. Don't buy them off eBay. I've bought one off eBay before and it was absolute rubbish. So I would buy it from a good shop, and it's worth spending that couple of pound more to make sure you get the proper product. And Light My Fire, that's a really good brand. It's a trademark. You know, when you buy a Light My Fire steel, you're going to get what you pay for, so that's for sure. So I'll put that down there. Next in here, put that back in for the moment, is my Heat Sheets bivy bag. Again, I've used this product before in the woods, spent the night in it, and I have no problem whatsoever with this bag. It's absolutely kosher, proper, good bag. You know, this is one of these products, I said it before in the review of this, this really does do what it says it does on the tin, and I wouldn't go anywhere at all without one of these in an emergency kit. It's a brilliant product. If you want to see it in action, go across and have a look at my VersiPack Night in the Woods, and you'll see it in there. I think it's part 5 or part 6, but it's definitely a worthwhile investment to buy one of these. Next in here, bank line. Well, we all know the importance of bank line. Again, initially I would be looking to build an A-frame shelter. Now it's possible to build A-frame shelters without any cordage whatsoever, but if you go in there and it's already getting dark and what have you, you perhaps don't have that time. So you want to throw one up really quickly, tie the apex off, and spend more time gathering tree branches, etc., off the Lee Andes pines, etc., and leaf litter, and get those sides of that built up to keep the rain off you. So bank line's a really important thing. Again, once you go past a few days, you can use this for snares and fishing line, etc. There's loads of good videos on YouTube which explain the uses of bank line. What else I have in here? A few items. Okay, wet fire tinder, needs no introduction. 100% going to get a fire with your fire steel with these products, as long as you're prepared to put the preparation in and have all your wood on standby. Here I have 2 Lillette tampons. These are massive balls of cotton wool, and again they're sealed so they don't take up a lot of room, and they're pretty much waterproof in their own wrappers, and once you break one of these open and light it up, one spark off a fire steel and away you go. So between one of these and a wet fire tinder, you're guaranteed a fire 100%. There's the little bag of 4 spare batteries in there, so that would give me an additional 45 hours on the petrol light, and it would give me a couple of spare batteries for the arm band that I have on the outside of the pack, and that would be more than enough to get me through for a few days and hopefully get out of there. Fishing kit, seen this. Fishing kit would work really well with the lures. A couple of lines out at night with the lures on. You know, there's never a guarantee that you're going to catch a fish, but it doesn't mean to say that you shouldn't try. And if you've got one, you've got one. If not, then what have you wasted? A fishing hook and a bit of fishing line? You know, it's a no-brainer. If you can get it in your kit, try it. Some people have really good success with it and other people don't. It's like everything else. If you go and practice these skills on a regular basis, when it comes to using them for real, you're going to be in a lot more high spirits and be a lot more confident in your ability, rather than somebody who buys one of those cheap survival kits, throws it in a pack, and then when the shit hits the fan, you ain't got a clue. You know, you're really not going to have a clue. So, you know, get this stuff and practice it. That's all I can say. Now, this is a stainless steel container and it holds 500 mils. And I'm going to try and show you if you can see it. I've actually drilled 2 tiny little holes in there, in the top of it. And the reason I've done that is because I wanted to put a bail on it. Now, I got this is snare wire, according to one of the survival kits I bought many years ago, that this is the snare wire to use to guarantee that you would catch a rabbit. You know, I wouldn't particularly think you would catch anything with this at all, really. I think you would be insulting a rabbit to ask it to jump into something like that. But nevertheless, wire's a good item to have in your kit, and as you can see, it's like threading a needle, but these little holes drilled on the right size, so I can use that for a bail wire to hold this over a campfire and boil myself some water. And I purposely made the hole small because when I'm walking out the next day, if I can't obviously boil water because I don't have a fire, etc., I can put a little bit of tape, which shows you either either of those tapes will do. The duct tape or Gorilla tape's probably the best one. Put a little bit round on the inside and put the lid back up, and that'll keep it from leaking through these holes. And that's where the purification tablets that you seen in there earlier come in. This holds 500 mils. These tablets actually are for a litre, so half of one of these tablets into there, put the lid on, give it a shake, and put it back in the pouch, and hopefully you're going to have yourself some clean drinking water. And by that time, even if it's not 100% clean, it's only going to make you a little bit ill, and by that time you're going to be well out of that situation, hopefully anyway. So that's the theory behind that. Like I said, I'm going to spray this black, and I'm going to try and find a mirror for the top there. The other thing I have inside the pack here, sorry, I'll move it closer, is, oh, here we go, I have a little bag of paprika, and again, that's in a little Ziploc bag, so should be lucky enough to catch myself a fish or a rabbit or a squirrel or something like that, I can kind of put a little bit of spice on it just to cheer it up a bit. So that was, it's not bad stuff actually. You know, you can put that there, put it in the oven bag, and like I say, just shake it all up round whatever you've got. Happy days. And that's it. The next thing in there is a silver foil blanket. It's quite impressive actually how much kit you can actually get inside this pouch. It is really, I was really surprised. And the silver blanket here, well, the reason I slept one night in these and I don't like them. I'll be perfectly honest with you, they're absolutely rubbish for spending the night in. They do, however, make absolutely fantastic fire guards. So what I would do with that is, once I'd made my A-frame shelter before I thatched it, I would cut this bag in half. Half of it would go over the top of the main ridge pole of that A-frame shelter, and the other half I would build a fire reflector, so any heat that came into that shelter at night is hopefully going to stay in there. And that, in connection with this, is a really, really good combination, and it doesn't take up much room and it doesn't weigh hardly anything. So I'm looking forward to doing this video, because like I say, we should all practice these skills more. It's fine having the kit and spending the money on it and the pouches and everything, but we've got to practice it, guys, otherwise it means nothing. We've got to get out there and practice it, and we should share it all with each other, which is exactly the point of why I've ended up on YouTube with all this stuff. So that's what I would do with that. Anything else in here? Yep, a few more items. That's the tape that I was looking for earlier. That, again, you've seen that in my EDC kit. That is hospital tape. It's micropore, I think they call it, and you know, this stuff is really good. It's like the medical equivalent of duct tape, and it's really good stuff. If you do get a nasty gash, you can put one of those butterfly stitches on and then wrap this stuff around it, and it's going to stay closed, that's for sure. If it doesn't, then again you can resort to perhaps stitching yourself. Another couple of wet fire tinders. Again, you can never have too many of these. Any spare space there is in a pouch that you've got, get these stuffed into the corners, because these are brilliant bits of kit. Quite expensive, but well worth the money. If you're cold and wet and you're stuck in the woods one night and want to light a fire, you'd probably pay £100 for one of these. And then last but not least, just a normal Bic lighter. Good old trusted bit of kit. I mean, I would always try and light my fire with this first, and I would use this up, and I would keep that for when I really needed it, because I would much rather light a fire with these than this. So, you know, just for initially getting that fire back going first thing in the morning or what have you, I would try and use this every time. So that's just about it for the pouch, but like I said at the beginning, I have some options. Now, I appreciate the fact that everyone is probably not going to be able to get their hands on one of these stainless steel coffee jars. It took me ages to track one of these down, which has kind of delayed me putting this, sharing it with you. But now that I've got it, obviously it's on. But if you don't have that, what I did do is I made an alternative, and this is just an ordinary bean can or a soup can, sprayed it black, drilled a couple of holes in it. You can see there that it's just an ordinary can, and you buy these lids, can covers, you get them from most of the supermarkets, and that goes on top. So that will do exactly the same job as that. It's just, you know, it's not so robust, but in some cases as an emergency kit this might actually be better, because it's probably about half the weight of what this is. So, you know, again, it's just an option. The other option is appreciate, for me personally, the little saw and the knife is a really good combination for me, because I know where I'm going and I know what's up in the woods there, so I know that the combination of these two items will serve me well. If I was going further afield, or perhaps for you guys in America where you're going to be a lot further away from civilization than what I ever will, so what I would thought in that situation is perhaps you could replace that little saw with a multi-tool, because you know these are really handy. And this is the Leatherman Surge, and just, you know, for the sake of the video, I'm going to stick that in there. That just swallows that, no problem, perfect fit. So you might prefer to have that rather than that little saw. And rather than having a folding knife, I know a lot of you prefer fixed blade knives. So this knife here is the Falkniven F1 survival knife, and this belongs normally in my bug out bag, which is in my vehicle, which I'm hoping to bring that to you guys quite soon. but I just wanted to show you that, you know, even if you're not a fan of the folding knives, then the way that this pouch is set up, you can actually slide that right in there and it's more or less a perfect fit. So you can actually carry yourself a decent fixed blade knife if that's what you're into. I personally, I don't do this in the UK because walking around with this on the side of a pouch on a belt is going to put me in the back of a police car, which, you know, if I was in an emergency situation I'd be quite happy to be there, but just, you know, for practicing sake and what have you, this is not really an option for us in the UK. So perhaps if I was to ever go abroad, come across to America, then I would probably definitely choose the combination between the multi-tool and the F1 survival knife for sure. But I hope that's kind of helped you and it's kind of enlightened you into what this pouch has to offer. It is a fantastic pouch from Maxpedition and I love it. It's great. I mean, you can sort of just, you can get a real sort of see of what exactly you can get in that pouch. Unbelievable. Love it. Absolutely love it. Now, just before I finish off, guys, I just checked my computer before I done this video, and my friend Jedi Knight of the Woods, who I think has a fantastic channel going on, he asked me a question about this little pouch here, which is the Maxpedition 5x3, and he asked me if you could fit 2 Altoids tins in it. So what I thought I would do, seeing as I've got the video camera and everything set up, I do actually own 2 Altoids tins. One's a tobacco tin and one's the Altoids tins, but they're both exactly the same size. So just for you, Jedi, I thought I would show you this. There we go. This pouch absolutely 100% takes 2 Altoids tins back to back, and there is, like you asked, a little bit of room left over, enough to say my EDC torch from yesterday, the Fenix LD10, actually fits on top of those 2 Altoid tins in there, no problem. So I hope that's answered your question, Jedi, and you know, maybe this year we could hook up and do a video together. That would be fantastic. Get a few cold beers, maybe tackle one of those bad boy cigars I keep seeing you smoking. So until then, again, thanks for watching, thanks for your support. If any of you have got any ideas or any questions with regards to any of this stuff at all, please feel free to ask. That's what we're all here for. We're here to share. Thanks very much. See you soon.